difference already. It's been snowing for about an hour, and you say sleet and freezing rain, nothing like that right now, thank you, because this is a very nice, light, manageable snow, the kind of snow where you get good traction when you're walking at least. But if you look at the difference, look at the road. The road's brine, it's completely clear. But you come here in the shoulder where there's no brine, and look at the accumulation already. So it really does make a difference when you can get this product on the roads. You can see the difference in just an hour. Now, of course, as time goes on and the snow accumulates, anything can happen. But right now we have a very classic winter snow. It's windy, it's very cold, and not a lot of people outside, a lot of downtown workers, and a few tourists who are gonna have a good time no matter what, and you can't blame them. Reporting live in downtown Nashville, I'm Dennis Ferrier, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Fox 17, steer clear traffic. Let's take a live look for you out in Nashville. You can really see those flakes flying. Now, when it snows like this, bridges can be extremely dangerous because they do tend to freeze first, along with overpasses in any shady areas. So it is always important to slow down and give yourself plenty of time. And honestly, if I were you, I wouldn't even try it. We have had crashes popping up left and right. I've had at least 4 crashes just pop up within the past 10 minutes or so. So I cannot stress this enough. It is not safe out there on the roadway. Stay home this morning, this afternoon, and even tonight if you can. I know that's not possible for everybody, but it's just a mess out there on the roads. Here's one accident that I'm tracking right now. This is going to be I-24 East, really close to Fessler's Lane, as well as a breakdown in the area. We have countless semis that are broken down on the east bank. I'll show you what else I'm tracking on I-65 coming up.
At 8:06 this morning, we have so many images coming into our newsroom in the last few moments, and I want to share some of them with you right here. This one is coming in from Shelby County. This is courtesy of the Tennessee Department of Transportation. You can see that plow pushing away some of the ice and snow that has accumulated there on the road in Shelby County after they first got this particular snow and ice storm before we did here in Middle Tennessee. So they are dealing with that right now. There's other images we want to share with you as well coming from other places across the mid-state. My producer in the back showing us some of those other images there. This one coming in from Murray County. Take a look at this picture. This is down in Santa Fe, and you can see the roads down there are completely iced over. So it's going to make the travel very difficult. They are trying to put down lots of ice and lots of salt and brine and things like that to try to make the road a little bit more passable. When you see scenes like that, it is understandable why there is so many crashes happening out there across the mid-state right now. So heads up in that area. We're also getting reports in of other crashes happening in areas like Lebanon. One of their police departments just sent out an image where a car has overturned and caused a really serious wreck out there in that area. So we're going to be watching that very, very carefully throughout the morning. And there's also other tweets and social media posts that are coming in. We also want to see your images as well. If you have any pictures or videos that you want to send to us, you can do so by going to our website, fox17.com. You can go to chime in, and we can show you some of those images there. And you can see how you can upload those images right there on your screen, and you can share them with us. As soon as you do, we'll be able to bring you some more of those images here. We can see Dana, thank you so much. Sarah, thank you so much for sharing some of those photos in. So again, go to our website, fox17.com, chime in. This is something else that's big. This is coming in from Angel. She says this is Walmart where she is. Now, this came in 2 days ago, but you can see how empty the shelves are. We know a lot of people moved in and took out a lot of the groceries at local stores around the mid-state here because they did not think they would be able to get out and about over the next couple of days, and that certainly has proven to be the case here as the snow's starting to push in, and we can see just how bad some of the roads are. We're going to get back to some of our pictures and videos coming up here throughout the newscast. An important message coming in from WeGo this morning. Buses will only operate on major corridors with the snow routes now in place for this weekend. Now, the bus operation will include the number 3 bus that runs on West End, the number 4S bus that runs on Shelby Avenue, and the number 7 bus that runs on Hillsborough Road. We're told that the buses will operate in a very limited capacity, and they are also going to be giving just services for the medical trips and essential trips only this weekend. Well, looking ahead at some Middle Tennessee schools and Southern Kentucky schools going to be taking precautions ahead of the incoming winter storm by canceling or delaying the school start times on Monday. Now, Austin Peay University there in Clarksville have already decided to cancel their particular classes on Monday. Bedford County and Franklin County schools, along with Humphrey County schools, have also canceled their classes as well. We're going to have a lot more schools added to this list before it's all said and done. You can find the full list all the time over on our website at fox17.com. Well, people are also urged to stay warm and take precautions as the region does face a lot more snow and ice and freezing temperatures out there. They are asking people who need to find a place to stay and to seek several places happening here across the area. So let's go to the Metro Nashville Emergency Overflow Shelter. They say they're going to be open and available this weekend with extended hours. The Nashville Rescue Mission also has their doors open right now. We understand room in the end will only be available for restroom access both today and tomorrow. And we understand that the young adults who are needing a place to stay can go to a place called the Launchpad Emergency Shelter. Now, for a complete list of all the closures and everything you need to know, you can go to our website, fox17.com, and just search the word winter weather. Let's give you a live look this morning in Metro Center. You can see that snow is falling out there, covering up a lot of the roadways, and certainly all the grassy areas have been completely covered by now, as we're expecting several inches of snow to move in. Let's get over to our Fox 17 COVID meteorologist, Brent Luna. He's got a look at what we are facing.
Hey, Justin, that look right there, looking right over the road that goes in front of our station. I just went outside right before we started this show, and the snow is really coming down, and you can see it right here on the radar coming down. Nearly all of that snow that you see, or that colored in blue that you're seeing pop up on radar, is snowfall. We are starting to see a little bit of sleet mixed in. It's not yet being picked up by the radar, but I'm going to switch it over to a different product right here. And normally when I'm tracking tornadoes, I show this product. This is called the correlation coefficient. It'll show us debris that tornadoes could be lofting in the air. That is not what I'm using this for this morning, but you can see the difference. These yellows that are popping up down here in some of our southern counties, that is a good indication that we could already be seeing some of that transitioning over to sleet. I've also seen some reports from the public in northern Lawrence County where they have a good coating of ice over parts of northern Lawrence County. That's going to be that sleet that has been falling. So the sleet chance will remain with us as we go throughout the rest of the day. The snow threat for the morning hours, and then freezing rain chance is going to move in a little bit later on this afternoon into the evening hours. Because of all of that, we have a lot of winter alerts in effect right now. We have winter storm warnings for all of southern Kentucky, a lot of middle Tennessee, and then our southwestern counties, we have ice storm warnings in effect down there. I am really concerned about the ice threat, especially down there in our southwestern counties. We're going to time everything out for you on what the rest of the day is looking like, and tomorrow coming up here in just a bit.
Fox 17, steer clear traffic. Building this because this accident just popped up a few minutes ago. So a heads up out in Lebanon. We have I-40 eastbound in Wilson County completely closed down right now at mile marker 240. So again, eastbound or outbound lanes out in Lebanon on I-40 completely closed down, really close to 70. That's going to be Highway 70 eastbound. We don't have a working camera out there in the area, but I will work on that and see if I can pick up those delays elsewhere. Closer in towards downtown Nashville, it is just an absolute mess out there. I would try and stay off the roadways if you can. It's already getting really dangerous. We've had quite a few overturned vehicles, spin out crashes going completely off the roadway. Remember, those bridges, ramps, and overpasses do freeze first, and they freeze pretty quickly. This is I-40 right around those eastbound lanes at I-24, where we just have a breakdown here, but there was an accident a few miles before that, so really heavy delays on I-24 and I-40 if you're heading outbound. That breakdown is going to be close to Fessler's Lane, mile marker 211. And then we have on the north side of town, I-65 south at I-24, really close to Trinity Lane. That outside shoulder is blocked off to traffic. You can barely see the road through some of those areas as that snow is coming down pretty heavy and pretty fast. Here's where that injury crash is, 65 south at Trinity Lane. Normally, if you stick with us through the mornings, I offer detours to get past those delays. While this ice is going on, I will not be advising you to take any secondaries because those are much more unsafe than our primary and interstate routes. TDOT crews have done a great job treating the roadways, but interstates are always going to be your best and safest bet if you do have to travel. I would skip Ellington Parkway and Dickerson Pike. Those don't get treated as heavily as our interstates. So if you do have to travel, please increase that following distance. But again, we would advise you to stay home if you can.
All right, Lindsay, thank you so much. And yeah, we can tell you a little bit more about that interstate closure on I-40. It is because of that overturned vehicle. We understand the Lebanon Police Department is there dealing with that. Lindsay was just telling you about it there. There's a car that is upside down with its wheels up in that area. So please be advised about that. And Lindsay's going to get you some more details, and hopefully we can show you one of these images coming up here in the next few seconds. Also keep in mind that NDOT crews say that they are on standby this morning, ready to go for this winter weather. Now, NDOT says they've been out there for the last few days, making sure that the roads have been pre-treated. They also say they've got 45 snowplows along with trucks and around 9,000 tons of salt. They also say there's around 80 identified snow route removals that are out there, or snow removal routes, I should say. And we're going to take a closer look right now at exactly what streets are prioritized. So if you can take a look at this particular map, you can see the red streets there. Those are the streets where they say the city of Nashville, they're paying closer attention to as far as trying to get that particular route clear before some of the other ones. So please watch out for that. They also say that some of the routes could be temporarily interrupted. So please keep that in mind. And just know, if you have to go anywhere this weekend, make sure that you're giving NDOT all the room they need to make sure that they remain safe. For those of you expecting a letter in the mail or important package, something like that, the United States Postal Service says there could be some delays on their part as the winter weather does have an impact on them here in the mid-state. Now, we understand that the mail service has issued alerts regarding the upcoming mail delivery that could be affected by widespread winter weather. And they say a lot of the country has already been impacted by this particular storm. We understand 30 states are going to be hit by this particular storm. That includes just about everywhere in the country, the Northeast, the Midwest, us here in the Southeast as well. The Postal Service says that the delays could happen when it comes to their mail and also their package processing and the transportation and delivery of that mail. The Postal Service says it will continue to monitor the weather developments and will adjust to try to minimize any delays. 10:17. Let's talk about the weather forecast. And we've been watching this storm for a few days now, waiting for it to hit, and it is finally here. Brent Luna is here, and you're expecting a shift. We're mostly seeing snow right now, but this is quickly going to change before it's over.
Yeah, and you know, Justin, I think our southern counties are already starting to see a little bit of this transition over into a little bit of sleet going on, and then that's going to move further north, that sleet threat, also the freezing rain threat. If you were watching us in the 8 o'clock hour, Lindsay and Justin were talking over some of those cameras over in Memphis, and we were just telling you, just wait a little bit longer. It's going to be heading our way, and sure enough, here it is. So it didn't take really a whole lot longer to get here. A lot of this blue that you're seeing on the radar, that is all snowfall that we have going on right now. Some of our southern counties, though, are seeing a little bit of sleet mix in. This radar picture itself isn't showing it the best, but if you saw just a few minutes ago when I was showing that other product that I usually show when I'm talking about tornadoes, you can see that we do have a little bit of sleet popping up down here in our southern counties, probably indicated by that darker blue right there in parts of areas like Hickman County and Murray County right there on this this map. But as we go through the rest of the day, more wintry precip will continue. So for the morning hours, north of Interstate 40, most all of that should be falling as just straight snowfall. Right here along Interstate 40 and south of that, where everybody is in those shades of pink, that's going to indicate those wintry mixes. So we could be seeing some sleet, even some freezing rain mixing in with this. But I think the greatest freezing rain threat is going to come a little bit later on this afternoon and then through the evening hours. And this is pretty interesting over here along the plateau. Temperatures should maybe warm up just enough by a degree or two to get some of this to transition over to regular rainfall by the later part of the afternoon. And then actually we're going to see those temperatures climb up a little bit more through the overnight hours tonight, reaching into the mid-30s. So most of that should actually stay as rain. Could see a little bit of a refreeze though as temperatures fall below freezing over here on the plateau later on a Sunday. North of Interstate 40 could see a little bit of that ice mix go up into those areas, but the heaviest snowfall totals today will be found in parts of southern Kentucky. Those are the ones who are seeing some of the better snow going on right now in our northern portions in Middle Tennessee. Fast forward to 7 a.m. right here. A lot of areas along and west of Interstate 65, we may actually see some rain, but you can see just how tight this gradient is going to be and how small of a window there is to get that. We have temperatures right at 32. That is freezing. So in this case, we could see freezing rain happening right here with these surface temperatures at 32 degrees. But a lot of this could be falling as rain, so we're going to be keeping our eye out on that in areas east of Interstate 65 for Sunday morning. But we could see some freezing rain mixing into those areas as well. Northwestern parts of Middle Tennessee, southwestern parts of southern Kentucky, still dealing with that snow and sleet threat as we go through Sunday morning. And then late Sunday into Monday, we could see another round move through, but we're going to be cold enough all the way through the atmosphere at this point finally to transition all that over to just straight snowfall for early Monday morning. So we're going to also be watching that. As far as snowfall totals go, the highest amounts are going to be up here in southern Kentucky. Could see between about 5, 6, 7 inches as we go up further north into parts of southern Kentucky. Down here closer to Interstate 40, looking at closer to 2 inches. And then in our far southern counties, could see less than an inch, but we may be able to get a little bit more ice and maybe just more regular rainfall down there. Highest ice accumulation amounts are going to be in our southwestern counties, 3/4 of an inch to an inch possible in that shade of pink. We'll show you the 7-day forecast real quick too. Upper 20s, lower 30s for highs today and tomorrow right here in Nashville. -2 on Monday. We may not even get above freezing next week.
Fox 17, steer clear traffic as these conditions just continue to get worse and more treacherous on the roadways. Here's a live look for you at I-40 out in Lebanon. You can't see it from this overhead camera, but just a few miles behind that, we do have a major interstate closure. I-40 East, that's going to be heading outbound, completely closed down right around 70. That's mile marker 240 due to an overturned vehicle in that area. We also still have quite a few issues in the East Bank. So southeast Nashville, downtown, we have a lot of issues in this area when we have no inclement weather to worry about. So definitely with this snow added on, causing a ton of issues in that East Bank. This is I-40 East, really close to Fessler's Lane and Elm Hill Pike. We have a breakdown and a crash really close to mile marker 211.
We are just getting some brand new images into our newsroom here. I want to show you this. This is on I-40 in Lebanon. This is the exact crash that Lindsay Nance was just talking about that has the interstate closed. So again, this is going to be I-40 out in Wilson County. This is an overturned vehicle right around mile marker number 240 there in Lebanon. You can see the extensive damage here after that vehicle has overturned. And unfortunately, this is one of several crashes that we're seeing across the mid-state here. So we wanted to make sure to provide you with these types of images. All the way over on the other side of the state, over in West Tennessee, for those around the Jackson area, about an hour ago, we got a report of a jackknife tractor trailer out in that direction. So for those of you traveling over to West Tennessee, keep in mind that 40 in that direction is also shut down because of a different kind of a crash involving an 18-wheeler. But again, this crash is happening over in Lebanon from the Lebanon Police Department, overturned vehicle that has the interstate shut down. Again, they have suggested over and over again, if you do not have to be anywhere today, it is not a good idea to get out and about on the roads right now. They are very, very treacherous. Kristen Coulter is here with us from TEMA. Kristen, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. I want to start over in West Tennessee because that's where we have seen the snow already on the ground. What can you tell us about our neighbors over there in Jackson and in Memphis and some of the conditions you've seen over there?
Yeah, we actually had our first briefing this morning, and our folks that are in West Tennessee have talked about snow already dusting the ground, but thankfully it's dry, so it's very easy to pick up right now. We are still very concerned about ice and the conditions that are going to come throughout the day, and obviously that weather is going to start moving toward East Tennessee.
Yeah, so it's starting to make its way here. You mentioned the ice. Is that truly the biggest concern? It's not the snow, it's the ice. And what are you trying to monitor about that and doing about that?
Yeah, the ice is absolutely the biggest concern at this point. You know, you can gain traction on snow. You cannot do that on ice. So obviously travel is going to be impacted because of that. And there are always concerns about infrastructure as well being impacted, but we are working closely with our partners, and everyone feels very confident in our positioning right now and the resources that we have out in the field.
What is it that people underestimate when it comes to the ice in your experience?
I think really it just boils down to people haven't experienced it, or we don't experience it often in the South like many people do in the Northeast. And so they just don't have the experience to know how to navigate through it. And because of that, they try to do business as normal or go out on the roadways. And as many of my partners have said, as we have continued to push out different kinds of messaging, we have said, you know, if you don't have to go out, don't.
And that includes those who are driving the pickup trucks and the 4x4s. I've got it. They can tackle it, Kristen, you know, because they've got the super big, heavy duty, you know, truck or Jeep. They can deal with it. And you're saying maybe not there.
Yeah, definitely try to stay off the roads if you can. And if you do have to be on the roads, you know, TDOT has the SmartWay webpage that you can visit to see what roads are blocked or impassable. So definitely check that before you go out. And then if you are on the roads, please make sure you're giving TDOT trucks and any other city trucks that are on the roads trying to do their jobs over the next few days plenty of room so that they can continue doing what they need to do.
All right, Kristen Coulter there with the Tennessee Emergency Management Agency. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. Well, many people across the nation are being impacted by this winter weather, and that includes in our nation's capital. Our Fox 17 chief congressional correspondent, Chad Pegram, is taking a closer look.
They legislate on Capitol Hill, they hold debates, they have hearings, but when there's a big snowstorm on Capitol Hill, they also sled, if you get my drift. Expect a flurry of sledders at the Capitol. But sledding here was once flaky. An 1876 congressional rule iced out sledders, barring use of the Capitol grounds for play. Officials rarely enforced the ban until after 9/11. Capitol Police regulations prohibit winter activities on the Capitol grounds, including snowmobiling and skiing. Regulation 16.520 specifically melted the fun, declaring no person shall coast or slide a sled within the Capitol grounds. It became an issue during a 2015 snowstorm.
Hey, good afternoon. How you doing, sir? Good, good. You know, the Capitol regulations have stated are that there's no sledding or skiing on Capitol grounds for life safety and property damage issues.
I understand the regulations. Thanks for letting me know, but we're going to go do a little more sledding here.
All right, sir.
All right. Thank you very much.
Leave it to Congress to make a mountain out of Capitol Hill. D.C.'s non-voting delegate to Congress, Eleanor Holmes Norton, asked officials to chill about the sledding ban. Despite the uphill battle, Norton tucked language into a spending bill lifting the sledding prohibition a few years ago. Norton's language supersedes the regulation. The moral to the story is fight the powder. On Capitol Hill, Chad Pegram, Fox News.
Also new this morning, right here on Fox 17, we're showing you more of your pictures that you're sending in to us on Chime In. That's on our website at fox17.com. We understand that Taz is sending us this. This is an aerial view of one city that is a condo development there in West Nashville, just off of Charlotte Pike. We understand she says that we are looking here at I-440 near the Sylvan Park area around 9:15. You can see the heavy snowflakes coming in from that area. Thank you to Melissa Hewitt. I think I know someone of that name. She's one of our staff members here at Fox 17, sending us this snow coming in from Bellevue. You can see some of the snow is starting to accumulate there on in some of the wooded areas there in Bellevue. That's also over in West Nashville. So if you've got pictures, if you've got video that you want to send to us, you can do so on our website, fox17.com. You can go to our chime in section, and right there you can upload pictures and video of some of the snow in your particular area. So we continue to look at more pictures there from Melissa there in Bellevue. If you've got pictures of your own that you want to share, make sure to do it there.
Seeing a lot of great snow photos right there, and that's what a lot of areas, especially north of Interstate 40, are going to be seeing for the next few hours. But then this is going to transition over into ice. So we're talking sleet and freezing rain a little bit later on today. Some of our southern counties already seeing a little bit of sleet going on in these areas. This shade of pink right here, though, that's 3/4 to 1 inch of ice that's going to be possible. So freezing rain could be accumulating on things like roads, power lines, power poles, trees. So just be very careful if you absolutely have to get out on the roads today. But I would strongly recommend just not even getting out and traveling at all, because these roads are going to get really dicey. You're already seeing that in some areas. Our winter weather impact level map for Middle Tennessee, a lot of us west of Interstate 65 in that red, that's major travel issues, major winter weather impact issues in a lot of those areas. Everybody in the shade of orange, there's still going to be very bad issues driving through there, but it doesn't take a lot of ice to really start to cause some major issues. Even if we get just a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch, that's still really disruptive. And then anytime we go over a 1/2 inch of ice, that could just be crippling. We could be talking about power outages, power lines, power poles coming down, trees coming down. We're going to take another look at the radar and then also the timing of everything coming up here in just a bit.
Fox 17, steer clear traffic with a new crash down around Laverne and Antioch on I-24 West. You can see from this overhead camera near OHB, roads are already coated. I mean, just within an hour or two, we went from seeing nothing on our roadways to a complete blanket of snow, and this is over our interstates too, so I can only imagine what those secondaries and neighborhood streets look like. So you're going to get tired of hearing us say it, but avoid travel if you can. I have just had unlimited crashes pop up within the past 30 minutes. That one's on 24 West, close to OHB. Injuries reported at mile marker 61.
This is a Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Special Edition, sponsored by Sarah Chevrolet, Bard Durham Injury Law, and Frontier Foundation.
Our Fox 17 Code Red Weather Alert is getting you prepared for the snow and ice that is making its way right here through the Midstate. The snow is coming down in downtown Nashville right now and other parts of the Midstate as well. We're going to tell you exactly how much longer it's going to stick around coming up in a few seconds. Thank you for watching this Saturday edition of Fox 17 News this morning. As we are in a Code Red Weather Alert, I'm Justin McFarland. The snow and ice has begun falling here and is not going to let up for hours to come. This is a live look there in downtown Nashville. You can see the big flakes falling. And by the way, I do want to mention this. The Nashville Predators are set to play a hockey game in about 2 hours. They have not canceled that game so far down there at Bridgestone Arena. So a little hockey that they're going to be playing there at Bridgestone. We'll see how many fans can show up. It is causing lots and lots of problems, the snow is, out there on the roads so far. Lindsay Nance has had her hands full there showing us the crashes on the interstates. Let's get over to the very latest happening out there as we've got a team of reporters on the streets right now. Fox 17 News' Johnny Maffey is live for us this morning out in Murfreesboro. Dennis Ferrier is live for us this morning here in Nashville. We're going to get to those gentlemen in just a moment. We want to begin with Brent Luna. He's our Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist. He's been watching this storm now for hours. Brent, what can you tell us?
Justin, right there just on the screen, you know, Johnny's camera, Dennis's camera, you can see a lot of snow already coming down here in other parts of Middle Tennessee. We're going to get to them here in just a second. But that's what we're seeing mainly right now for most of us here in Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky. Still seeing some of that snow coming down at a pretty good speed. And this is when we're going to get a lot of our snowfall accumulation a little bit later on today. A lot of this is going to transition over to ice for some areas. So we're talking sleet and freezing rain. Obviously, freezing rain is the worst form of winter precip. Radar is still showing a lot of snowfall going on, but we have been seeing some sleet mixing in to our southwestern counties. That's indicated by the pink right there on the radar. I was looking at a different radar product just a little bit ago, and you can kind of see the sleet a little bit more widespread for some of our southern rows of counties right here in Middle Tennessee. But a lot of this is falling right now as snow for most areas. But then once we start to get into the afternoon and then in the evening hours, I think we're going to start to see a transition of that from snowfall to more of this sleet and freezing rain mixture, which is not good. Snow's not great either, but if this was all snow, it'd be a little bit more doable. But when you factor in the ice, that just makes things really bad. We're going to continue to have updates for you as we go through the rest of the day.
Our team coverage in the snow does continue on this morning out in the city of Murfreesboro. Fox 17 News' Johnny Matthews live for us this morning there in Rutherford County. Johnny, we understand you're near the campus of MTSU where you can't even see the campus right now.
No, we can see the facilities up above here, Justin. The snow's been falling at a steadier clip. I want to show you the parking lot here because as I've been standing here for a couple minutes, if you haven't taken your first step out the door and you have to, it's a little slick underneath the snow. Not terrible. You can walk on it. Just got to be careful and have a heads up. I do want to show you the roads, though, this morning because there's been cars driving over here and the tire tracks keep covering up. It kind of shows you the rate at which some of this snow is falling right now. But this, of course, is by the MTSU campus. As for the city of Murfreesboro, they're going to have 60 employees already out to clear up all this snow and ice. I want to show you the wind speeds right now. It's blowing a little bit, not too much. Go Vols if you're a big Orange fan out there, but the snow's been blowing around a little bit, but pretty light right now. Expecting some more later. Some people have some power outage concerns. I know some businesses are riding things out, so I will say that the Murfreesboro Police Department and the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office say give the plows and the crews some space if you need to and stay off those roads if you can. I know not everyone can, though. We are going to send it from Murfreesboro up to Nashville right now because the one and only Dennis Ferry is live there this morning. Checking out the conditions. Dennis, how are things looking?
Good morning, Johnny. You can see here we've got a nice brisk snow. It's been snowing for about an hour and a half. It's windy enough so it's almost sideways, and it's really starting to accumulate on the ground. As far as the slick streets, we don't see that here. We're on the ground. Lindsay's better for that. But I can tell you this, with Brett talking about freezing rain coming up, that is really a dangerous situation in Nashville. That's a game changer. Snow's one thing. There's going to be some accidents. But when we get to that freezing rain, not only do we have power outages, we have a ton of fall injuries, literally hundreds. I've covered ice storms in 94, 98, 04, 15, even last year. Hundreds of emergency room, wrist, knee, hip, broken bones. It can be so dangerous. And I wanted to show you what I'm doing here. I've got on ice cleats. They just pull right over. Now, it's pretty late if you don't have them now, but we had some photographers who found them even yesterday afternoon for like $20. And you can walk with confidence. And there's no slipping. Of course, if I slip right now, right, blooper reel forever, but I'm not going to because I am sticking to the ground with these teeth. So please be very careful. Even if you're just going to go out on your deck to check out the snow, which is normal, if that freezing rain hits, the conditions will change dramatically. In the meantime, I'm Dennis Ferry reporting live from downtown Nashville, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Fox 17, steer clear traffic. Dennis is exactly right. Stay off the roads if you can. It is a little bit slick out there on our roadways, but the real issues are going to be happening this afternoon, tonight, and tomorrow morning when we do have some of that sleet and then refreeze, which is just going to cause a ton of black ice on the roadways. We have enough issues, and we're not even dealing with that yet. Here's I-24 West, south side of town, pretty close to Laverne and Smyrna. Multi-vehicle crash with injuries reported. Looks like we also have a crash on 24 East in that same area. Low visibility in this area, and we also have treacherous conditions on all of our interstates across the board. That injury crash is mile marker 61. Out in Lebanon, we still have I-40 East completely closed, close to Sparta Pike, mile marker 240 due to an overturned vehicle that happened close to an hour now. Normally, I would recommend detours like secondaries. For the next few days, I'm not doing that. Interstates are going to be your safest bet if you absolutely have to travel. If not, I would stay home if you can, but those secondaries are going to be in much worse shape, especially right now, than our interstates are. And that's saying something because interstates are in really rough condition. Here is I-40, really close to Fessler's Lane, where we still have 2 breakdowns and an injury crash listed really close to Fessler's Lane. That's going to be mile marker 211. Silliman Evans Bridge also really slow going due to another breakdown.
All right, Lindsay, certainly people out there with their hands full when it comes to driving in the snow. Again, they're recommending that you stay off the road, but if you gotta go out, we know it can be especially dangerous, so we went and asked the driving school down in Brentwood, one of their instructors, about how to stay safe if you absolutely have to get out and about. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar has the advice from the experts.
The Brentwood driving instructor tells me driving slow and keeping your distance with other drivers will be your best bet to stay safe. Ice will be the biggest factor in this upcoming storm. According to the Federal Highway Administration, icy roads cause more deadly crashes than all other weather hazards combined. But essential workers have to get on the roads, and others also venture out during things like emergencies. Jeremy Lyon, the owner of Brentwood Driver Training, tells me besides speed and space, choosing routes like interstates are best. He explains what to do if your car does skid.
You start to skid, you release the gas, you put your shifter down to 1 below it, you'll slow the car down on its own without hitting the brake, and then you can just squeeze the brake to a stop on the ice or snow.
The Tennessee Department of Transportation tells me they have brined and salted the roads to help prevent accidents. But overall, TDOT's advice is just stay home if you can. Reporting in studio, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
10:39 is the time here on this Saturday morning as we are continuing to follow several things out there as far as the road conditions from local law enforcement. We are checking in here with the Fayetteville Police Department. You can see here they say on a post that put up about an hour ago, we would like to inform all of the residents that the road treatment is currently underway in priority areas within city limits. However, these areas remain hazardous and slippery. For your safety, we strongly advise that you stay home and refrain from traveling on the streets unless absolutely necessary. Again, that is from the Fayetteville Police Department down there in Lincoln County. So we are interested in seeing that. This is actually a live picture. This is interesting. Live picture coming in right now from Humphreys County and the Sheriff's Department there. They are live and taking a look at the road conditions. Again, this is one of their sheriff's deputies driving around there. You can see how covered the roads are. Unfortunately, I can't tell you exactly which road this is, but again, this is courtesy of the Humphreys County Sheriff's Department. Humphreys County is over to the west of Nashville there, near places like Waverly. You can see they've got a lot of snow and a lot of ice on the road. Also, it looks like a lot of people are heeding the warning and staying off the road so far, so good job there. But you can see how covered everything is there in Humphreys County. This is going to be a good camera to stay with here and see if they roll up on anything else. Let's check in on some other areas if we can. This is the Oak Grove, Kentucky, which is just to the north of the Clarksville area. You can see about 20 minutes ago, they put up a message there saying that they are just very concerned about the extreme cold warning. Now, the warning they've issued here is from the National Weather Service, making sure that people know that the wind chill is going to be 2 to 8 below. That is amazingly cold here in the mid-state, so they want people to take precautions about that. Again, that is from the Oak Grove Police Department there in Kentucky, who've just issued that. Let's check in on a couple of other areas here. Here we are from Mount Juliet. They say the snow has arrived there in Mount Juliet. You can see some of the roads there in Wilson County are covered. It is going to be a tough road out there. Also, a lot of overpasses. This is like one of the main areas there, right off of I-40. They've got a massive overpass there, and we've been warning people, especially about these overpasses in weathers like this, that it can be especially treacherous because they don't have any grounding. So places like bridges and overpasses are going to slick over first before even some of the side roads do. So heads up there in the Mount Juliet area. Right now, they say they've been working a couple of crashes, but so far they also just want to emphasize that the roads there are being covered with snow. So just some of the law enforcement around the mid-state just trying to give warnings to people about some of the things we're seeing. As we get more pictures and more information, we're going to check back in with them. Right now, let's get to Brent Luna. He's been watching this particular weather pattern now for several days. Brett, what can you tell us now with this latest image on the radar?
Yeah, Justin, great job breaking down all those cameras, too, and awesome live shots that we were seeing from the sheriff's deputy over there in Humphreys County. But what we're seeing on those cameras is a lot of snowfall. That's what we're seeing on this radar image, too. Humphreys County, this is right over here near Interstate 40. That's what we were looking at, and you can see that some heavier snow has been coming down in some of those areas. We've also started to see a little bit of sleet mix into our southern counties, and I'll show you how that forms in just a little bit. Snow is pretty easy. It's just where temperatures are at or below freezing all the way down from the cloud all the way down to the ground. So we're going to see those temperatures at or below 32. Sleet gets a little more interesting, and this is why things kind of become a little bit tough. About 5,000 to 10,000 feet up in the atmosphere, so 5,000 to 10,000 feet above the ground, we're going to see temperatures just briefly go back above a freezing by a couple degrees. These snowflakes are going to fall through the upper part of the atmosphere. They're going to hit that little layer of warm air about 5,000 to 10,000 feet above the ground. They're going to temporarily melt. That's going to turn them into liquid raindrops. Once those keep on falling a little bit further closer to the ground, there's going to be enough cold air right at the ground that it's going to have time to refreeze, but not all the way. It's going to refreeze into those sleet pellets. So that's how you get sleet. Moving on over to freezing rain. This is obviously the worst sort of winter precip that we can get. This can cause some major issues. It's all going to start out as snowflakes, though, with temperatures below freezing up here higher in the atmosphere. It's going to fall through a larger layer of warmer air, so temperatures above 32 degrees. And then that's going to keep on falling, but it really just does not have enough time to freeze before it can get to the ground into those sleet pellets. So this is going to be with temperatures above freezing, pretty close to the ground, and then right at the surface, temperatures are going to be below freezing, and those liquid raindrops are just going to freeze on contact with anything that they hit. That could be tree branches, power lines, roads, bridges, anything like that. So you just got to be very careful with freezing rain, and that's why we're just recommending later on, especially, don't get out on the roads unless you absolutely have to, because this could not be fun. Travel could become, there could be a lot of significant issues here across Middle Tennessee, especially if you're in the southwestern corner. We're going to look at all that here in just a little bit. Radar is still showing mostly snow, but you can see some of that sleet that has started to move in. That's the current radar image right there at 1044. Not seeing a whole lot being depicted by the radar, but I'm going to change it over to this product right here. This is called our correlation coefficient. If you've watched any of our severe weather coverage, I show this map a lot. This helps us determine where there's debris possibly with a tornado. This morning, I am not using it for any sort of tornado coverage, but we can see where it's trying to pick up some of those ice pellets right there, some sleet that could be falling still in our southern counties. We're going to keep you updated. We're also going to take a look at some of our temperatures because it's going to get really cold. So we'll have the timing on this wintry precip, also some of our temperatures in the days ahead coming up for you in just a bit.
Fox 17, steer clear traffic. Here's a prime example of why you should stay off the roads today. I just got a brand new spin out crash on I-24 on the roadways. This is going to be South Nashville, really close by to Antioch. Just a terrible situation to be in. That is on I-24 West, mile marker 58. Again, just popped up within the past 2 to 3 minutes, and this is the third issue that I've had on I-24 in the past 30 minutes or so. So conditions really treacherous, even if the roadway looks good. If it looks clear and you're following in those tire tracks, it is still really easy to lose control and spin out on the roadway. I've already had about 6 spin outs so far this morning, and we've only had the snow coming down for a few hours. Thankfully, TDOT just got to the scene here, but a really bad spin out crash reported. We also still have this issue in southeast Nashville. About 2 or 3 semis completely broken down, pushed off towards the outside shoulder at Fessler's Lane. That is mile marker 211 with heavy delays reported there. Up on the Solomon Evans Bridge, another pretty unsafe spot that froze over really fast. We've got that breakdown I-24 East pretty close by to Shelby Ave.
This morning, we're speaking with the Executive Vice President and Chief Operation and Innovations Officer. He is Brent Baker from the Nashville Electric Service. Brent, good morning. I know it's going to be a very busy weekend. We hope that crews out there will have to do the minimum work. But what is the first thing you want people to do and know when it comes to preventing power outages in their particular area when it comes to this winter storm?
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for the opportunity. Yeah, the biggest thing right now is, as everybody said, staying off the roads. Last night, we had a car hit a pole and caused an outage unrelated to the weather. So as the weather comes in, stay off the roads and keep yourselves safe. When we do have down power lines, we encourage everybody to stay 30 feet away. Safety is the most important thing. Down power lines have to be assumed to be energized. Make sure you stay away. And our crews are dedicated and working around the clock to make sure we are able to respond as quickly as possible.
What do you recommend people do if they do lose their power?
Yeah, so be preparing today. Make sure all of your batteries are charged, your cell phones are charged, and make sure you are able to keep yourself warm. If you do have an outage, make sure you close off different doors around your home and keep your house as warm as possible.
Yeah, I know that's very important. You ask people to call and report those power outages. How does NES prioritize restoring power if there are outages? How does that work?
You bet. Yep. So we do look around the system and get the most customers restored at a time as possible. So we, across the system, look at the outages, and when we have large pockets to restore, we get those restored first and get down to the 1 and 2 outages after those large areas are restored.
So the large clusters first, and then maybe some who live on a side road, a more remote area, they unfortunately may have to wait a little bit. Is that what I'm hearing here, Brent?
That can be the case, and so it just depends on how many customers are on that circuit that will determine when we are able to get to that.
And I assume all of your linemen, you know, you guys have an army of people who go out there and do very hard work. I know a lot of folks get frustrated at times. What do you advise people to do if they've without power for an hour or 2 hours? Do you ask people to call back and continue to tell us, continue to send messages? What do you say to those folks?
You bet. So we will have our outage map up and updated. We will be going to social media to provide updates about the areas of town we're restoring. Encourage everybody to follow us on the social media posts that we put out. Feel free to call us or send us the text from our outage map, and we will provide updates as we can. We do have over 200 crews waiting to respond, able to respond 24 hours a day. So we will be quickly on the scene and getting power restored as outages happen.
All right, Brent Baker with the NES, 200 crews. That's quite a few. Thank you so much for your attention this morning, and hopefully it's a calm weekend. We'll see.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Just checked in with the NES outage map a few seconds ago. Right now, just 7 customers across Metro Nashville without power, and hopefully those 7 people, first and foremost, get their power back. But also, that number does not continue to grow. Also checked in with Clarksville a short time ago with their electric service there in that direction, and they tell us that there's no outages at all right now for that particular region of their 86,000 customers there in Clarksville. So let's get to Brent Luna, our Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist right now. That would indicate the lack of outages, Brett, that the ice really hasn't come in, that right now this is more of a snow event.
That's exactly what we're seeing, Justin. Still seeing a lot of the snow on the radar, and I love the cameras that y'all are showing from Memphis, you know, at the 8 o'clock show this morning, and you could see the snow coming down pretty good in Memphis, and then just move about 3 hours to the west down Interstate 40, and that's where we are right here in Nashville, and we are seeing the snow. We've been seeing the snow for a couple hours now, and it has been coming down pretty good, but this is just the first part of it. The ice is going to be the main event, I still think, and it's not going to be a 2-inch amount of ice or anything like that, but just the smallest amount of ice can really cause some issues. So we're talking ½ inch, maybe up to 3/4 of an inch of ice right here in parts of Davidson County. And when you get up above that ½ inch mark, you could really start to be running into some issues. So because of all that, obviously, we are in our Fox 17 code red alert for today and tomorrow. This major winter storm will continue to move through. Significant travel impacts can be expected along with power outages as well. Still seeing the snow popping up right here on the radar, but I still think we're seeing more of that sleet mixture going on down in some of our southern counties. I was showing you on that other radar product just a little bit ago. I think there's some sleet that's falling down there in some of our southern counties right now. This ice line, so the threat for freezing rain and sleet is kind of defined by that shade of pink right here. It's going to move up right near Interstate 40. Areas north of Interstate 40 by 1 p.m. should still be seeing mostly all regular snowfall going on, but south of that, we could be seeing areas of sleet and some freezing rain mixing in. And then this is pretty interesting too. I've been showing this throughout the morning. Temperatures over here on the plateau. This is for 5 p.m. Temperatures right at freezing in McMinnville, 33, a degree above that in Tullahoma. So we're just going to be a degree or two difference from seeing just regular rainfall or freezing rain. So it's going to be very hard to determine that because these temperatures are going to be hovering right here around the freezing mark on the plateau as we go through the later part of the day. But all this pink that you're seeing still here, Saturday, tonight, 10 p.m. near the Tennessee and Kentucky state line, all that could be falling as freezing rain. So freezing rain is just something you just really don't want to mess around with. That is going to cause the worst impacts of any sort of winter precip. So we're looking at that for today, and we could be seeing a little bit more of that move through by Sunday morning. This is Sunday morning, 7 a.m. A lot of areas east of Interstate 65 still with temperatures just a couple or a few degrees above freezing. These numbers could sway back and forth just a little bit. Could be seeing some freezing rain mixing in with that. Our northwestern counties where you're seeing those blues and pinks, that's still going to be that wintry mix that's falling in those areas. Highest snowfall totals for this event, those are going to be found in parts of southern Kentucky and our far northern portions right here in middle Tennessee. Those are the ones who have gotten the pretty good snowfall already this morning. And then we're going to get a little bit of that ice, that sleet and freezing rain that's going to fall a little bit later on today. Could see a little bit more snow move in on early Monday morning too. Parts of southern Kentucky could be going up to about 6 inches or maybe just a little bit more than that. Near Interstate 40, this includes the Nashville area, about 2 inches of snow possible here. The lowest snowfall amounts are going to be found in our southern counties. Could see less than an inch right there. This is what I'm most concerned with though for today, our ice accumulation map. Southwestern counties in middle Tennessee, 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch of ice possible. Right here in Nashville, could see a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch, and it does not take a whole lot to cause many issues. We're going to be really cold as we move on in the next week.
Fox 17, steer clear traffic. Really hard to imagine roads getting any worse than they already are at this point, but that is definitely where we stand because we haven't even had that sleet, freezing rain, or ice build up on the roads yet that Brett was just talking about. So I would definitely advise staying home today if you can. Roads are already treacherous. I mean, we are coated across Middle Tennessee. Here's a live look for you down in Murfreesboro, pretty close to Fortress Boulevard. One I-24 East, accident listed there. And then take a look at this. This is 24 West, pretty close to Lebanon and Antioch. Multi-vehicle crash that we honestly have not made any progress on within the past hour or so. You can see those shoulders on and off ramps already completely coated on the roadways. Really slick conditions with quite a few injury crashes and spinouts already out there on the roads. We had one spinout pop up on I-24 West at Haywood Lane. Cameras have zoomed out, so you can't necessarily see it, but we do have that injury crash and spinout. Again, 24 West right at Haywood.
10:55 this morning. I want to show you some images coming in from the Tennessee Highway Patrol. This is on I-24, we understand, down near Chattanooga. You can see here they had an 18-wheeler that has left the road and hit one of the rock walls there. So they've got quite the mess to clean up. And this is shutting down one of their areas there, again, down in Chattanooga. So heads up if you're traveling down that way. Remember, this is not just a mid-state storm. This is happening everywhere across the state. They're going to be seeing slowdowns like this one here. So again, just keep that in mind. No matter where you're going this morning, it's going to be an issue. So that's there in the Chattanooga area. Want to also show you something else coming in from Spring Hill. Check this out if we can. This is coming in from the Spring Hill Police Department. You can see someone hit a lamp pole a little bit earlier this morning, taking it down. They say it is causing some delays down there in the Spring Hill area. They also say that as the snow continues to fall, there are going to be more and more delays and unfortunately more and more crashes as the road down there in Murray County continues to deteriorate. So we've been talking about it all week. Brent has told us that the snow event's going to be to the north where the ice is going to form more down to the south, and that's exactly what we're seeing so far. We'll continue to follow that out there on the roads. Well, from Tennessee to Georgia, several other states are also following a state of emergency in the middle of this winter storm. Chattanooga leaders, that is down near the Hamilton County area, they say they're not as concerned about the winter weather as much as they are about what happens when the weather temperatures do warm up after the storm. Mary Beth Mangrum from our sister station has a story.
Our office and our supporting agencies within the city and county have been meeting every day since Tuesday to plan for this winter weather arriving this weekend.
As the state of Tennessee enters a state of emergency, Hamilton County is preparing for a winter storm.
All precipitation types will be possible heading into this weekend. Rain, sleet, ice, freezing rain, snow. All of that is on the table for all of us area-wide.
But those chances of ice and sleet also come with the chances of rising waters.
But we do have those AI predictions, and we have been working with GIS to see what flash flooding would occur and those areas that would be flooding first. And that's going to probably more than likely be the East Ridge area and parts of the East Brainerd area.
That's as more rain is predicted come Sunday.
This is heavier downpours. The risk for flooding comes back into the forecast. Depending on how fast that rain falls, that's where you get the flooding risk.
This last flood that we had back in August was a very freak incident where there was so much rain in a short period of time.
When historic flash flooding ripped through our area, East Ridge resident Jerry Callahan says he and his wife remember the damage well.
It was all underneath. It got in also our heat pump and insulation. Things like that.
With 50 years spent in his quiet East Ridge neighborhood, he thinks creeks like the one not far behind his home could have worsened the flood.
It runs into South Chickamauga Creek, so I think that contributes to a lot of the flooding issues. If it was dredged or cleaned out, it would allow the water to move on down and rather than come back on our neighbors.
That was our sister station, Mary Beth Mangrum, with that particular report. Now, Fox 17 News is your home for all the winter weather. We've got extended coverage throughout the weekend. We are normally not on right now, but we're here for you, making sure you're up to date with the latest weather alerts. We're also going to be on coming up here throughout the weekend. This morning, we were on at 8 o'clock this morning. Tonight, of course, we'll be on starting at 9 p.m. with the very latest, and we're going to have hourly updates starting at 12:25 today. We're going to have updates every single hour with our Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist to keep you up to date about what's going on with the storm, so you can make sure to watch us there. Coverage at 1:30, then at 4 o'clock, then another particular part of our coverage will come on at 6:30. Then, of course, we wrap up with Fox 17 News at 9. And then coming up on Sunday, you can check us out starting at 6:30 in the morning. 6:30 to 7, we're going to have live coverage about the latest with the winter storm. And then again from 4 to 5 that afternoon. Then, of course, on Fox 17 News at 9. Stay with us throughout the weekend as we've got you covered no matter what the storm brings us.
This is a Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Special Edition, sponsored by Sarah Chevrolet, Bart Durham Injury Law, and Frontier Foundation.
Thank you for joining us at 11 a.m. on Fox 17 News this morning. I'm Justin McFarland. We are on for our special Fox 17 Code Red weather alert. The winter storm has moved it here to the mid-state, and we want to take a live look at exactly what is happening throughout the city of Nashville. We've been getting lots of pictures in on Chime In on our website, fox17.com/chime-in. Thank you so much for sharing those pictures with us. You can see the cats are taking a look at the snow. That is Shadow and Tigger watching the snow in their particular part of the mid-state. This is Robin, who is sharing some pictures with us coming in from Hermitage. She says the snow is starting to fall in her particular neighborhood. She shared that with us about 17 minutes ago. Robin, thank you so much for sharing your photos with us. Let's move on here. This is Liston. They're also watching their cat react to the snow. Is the cat trying to catch the flakes? Is that what we see out there? Having a good time, it would seem. We appreciate Liston for sending us these photos as well about 20 minutes ago. Thank you so much sharing that with us on Instagram. Of course, and again, you can always share your photos with us over at fox17.com/chime-in. Upload your photos. We would love to see them, videos as well, and we can talk about exactly how the storm is impacting you. We do have a team of our reporters who are out there making sure that you are covered with this storm. We have Fox 17 News' Johnny Mathey. He's live for us this morning down in Rutherford County in Murfreesboro. Dennis Ferrier has been live for us this morning downtown near Broadway. We're going to get to those gentlemen in just a few moments. First, we want to go over to our Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist, Brent Luna. He has been watching this storm now for several hours. Where are we now, sir? Are we mostly ice? Are we mostly snow? What are we doing right now?
So, Justin, it really depends on where you're at. If you're near or north of Interstate 40, still all snow. You can see that going on in Dennis's and Johnny's live shot. Dennis in Nashville, all snow right there. And it looked like Johnny's was too. We're going to check in with Johnny here in just a little bit. But areas just a little bit further south of that, closer to the Tennessee and Alabama line, are starting to see a little bit more of that sleet begin to mix in. Not seeing any of that in Nashville just yet, it doesn't look like, but I'd say give it 2 to 3 more hours or so, and we could start to see a little bit of sleet mix into the Nashville area, and then a little bit later after that, we could see a little bit of that freezing rain try to mix in. This is the map that I've been showing today. Usually, if you watch our severe weather coverage, usually I'm showing this map for tornado coverage, but today, no tornado threat at all. This is going to be the sleet that's being picked up by our correlation coefficient product onto the radar. So this is pretty neat. The regular radar reflectivity not showing it too well, but this product is still showing some of that sleet coming down in some of our southern counties. We have winter storm warnings in effect for a lot of Middle Tennessee and ice storm warnings in effect for our southwestern counties. We're going to go down to Murfreesboro now. That's where we find our Johnny Maffey. He's going to show us what it's looking like out there. What are you seeing, Johnny?
Hey, Brett, what's up? We are downtown Murfreesboro right now where the snow keeps picking up. You can see the beautiful winter wonderland over here in the borough and the square, and some businesses are open, and some people are riding out the storm a little bit. Joni's has got the coffee brewing this morning, and you guys are coming out. Can you introduce yourselves? Tell me how the roads were.
Hi, I'm Charles. This is Ariel, my lovely girlfriend. The roads were not too bad, but in the next hour, I'd say you should be home, unless you have like a truck or a Subaru with all-wheel drive. I mean, it's going to be kind of intense.
Definitely in the early hours of this storm, though, it's hard to hunker down. You guys, what are you getting at Joni's?
I think I'm going to get a sweet crepe. I'm before.
Savory one for me, honestly.
Absolutely. And are you prepared to hunker down because that ice is coming later?
Yeah, we stocked up on canned foods, bottled water, and anything that can be put in a refrigerator can be put outside just as easily, and we have plenty of blankets. We're all good.
Awesome. Hey, guys, thanks so much. Enjoy the coffee, get warm. Appreciate you coming on Fox 17 News this morning. Alrighty, guys, again, let's look at the sidewalks quickly before we send it up to Nashville because it is piling up out here. Again, Joni's open, though. They're riding out the storm. This barbershop, Woods Viking Barbershop, we talked to them earlier. They're riding it out as well, but I want you to be careful because the snow's picking up. Things are getting icy. Things also getting icy up in Nashville where the one and only Dennis Ferrier is live for us this morning. Dennis, I know you got your cleats on out there. Don't slip. What's it looking like?
Hey, the cleats are great. I'll tell you what, here's interesting, Johnny, and for everyone, because we're talking about all the snow, freezing rain, sleet. This is not dry snow anymore. It almost feels a little bit on the wet side, and it makes you wonder what's coming. But as far as accumulation, it hasn't been snowing that long, and with all the brine, you wouldn't know. But if you look at the top of the trash can lids there, certainly nobody brined those trash cans. So it's some pretty decent accumulation, you know, up here. Looks like an inch. It's very unofficial. You know, we don't know anything. But it's been snowing steady like this. It's windy. It's really cold. It's 18 degrees. It's a biting cold. So if you do go outside, bundle up. And Johnny's right. I got the cleats on, and I'll tell you what, makes you walk with a lot of confidence. Our photographer, Ryan Thornburg, he has cleats on, and we've had to move kind of quickly out here downtown, and it's paid off. But be very careful, not just in your car, but you don't want to fall. You don't want to fall on the ice and hurt yourself. So there's a lot in motion right now. We know that things are going to change, but while we've been down here, this has been steady for the last couple hours. We're seeing accumulation. People are still getting around, but this is a very small picture in the big picture. I'm Dennis Ferrier reporting live, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Fox 17 steer clear traffic, hoping to give you a bigger picture of what the roads look like this morning. We just got one new breakdown and a ton of snow coming through I-65 on the north side of town. You can tell people are really starting to take it slow on the roads. This is 65 southbound at OHB in Madison. Visibility is low. Roads are slick and they're only going to get worse, unfortunately. Stay inside if you can. That breakdown is at mile marker 92. And then here's a look on the east side of town, I-40, pretty close by to Briley Parkway. Remember, those bridges, on and off ramps and overpasses will freeze first.
11:06 is the time. We want to take a quick look here at some more pictures sent to us by our viewers on Chime In. You can do so at fox17.com. This is Creed, sent to us by Grace Murphy. Thank you so much. He says he's not the biggest fan of his sweater or the snow. So, Grace, maybe just take him back inside. I hope you enjoy the picture, but take him back inside. You're right, he doesn't seem very happy out there. But thank you for sharing the picture with us. We appreciate it. Moving on to other folks and other pictures out there. This particular picture coming in from Jerry out there, Jerry Burnett. We appreciate that. The snow is here. Thank you for showing us some of the snow-covered roads out in that direction. We appreciate it. By the way, if you want to add to this particular set of photos or videos, you can do so by going to our website, fox17.com, and going to our Chime In section. You can upload both pictures and video there. You can see this picture there of a covered road, a snow-covered road. Also, if you want to include where you are, that would be fantastic, because we want to know exactly sometimes where are we looking at here. You can be as generic as possible, even if it's just the county. We just kind of want to know a location so we can get a better idea of how the snow is impacting your particular part of the mid-state. We do have an important message this morning from WeGo. Bus operation will only happen on the major corridors with the snow route detours that are now in place this weekend. Now, the bus routes are operating on the number 3 West End, the number 4S Shelby Avenue, and the number 7 Hillsborough. Now, we're told that the buses will operate in a very limited capacity, giving service for medical and essential trips only this weekend. There's no question that a number of school systems are watching the winter weather very carefully, and some of them have already canceled classes for Monday. One of them includes Austin Peay University there, Austin Peay State in Clarksville. They've decided to cancel their schools for Monday. Bedford County, Franklin County, and Humphreys County has also decided to cancel classes on Monday. Now, we are sure that this list is going to grow as we get closer and closer to Monday. If you want to check out that full list, you can always go to our website 24/7, fox17.com. Just search the word winter weather. NDOT has been very busy. That is the Nashville Department of Transportation, making sure they have pre-treated the roads. But they say they're not done yet. We're going to tell you exactly how many snowplows they've got to hit the road.
Normally we've got the snow and the sleet that we have going on the radar right now, but instead of just spending the morning telling you that that's what we have going on, thought we'd just go down a little bit behind the science and show you how this sleet and all the different forms of winter precip form. So snow is pretty easy. It's below freezing at the top of the atmosphere, and then that snowflake falls all the way down to the ground, never moving through a layer of air that is above freezing. That whole layer is going to stay at 32 degrees or below that, so it never has a chance to melt. Sleet's a little bit different. It starts out as a snowflake higher up in the atmosphere. It starts to fall, but then it hits a layer of warmer air that's a little bit above freezing, and then it has just enough time to refreeze into those sleet pellets before it reaches the ground. A freezing rain is the worst form of winter precip. It starts out the same. It starts out as snow, and it falls through a warmer layer of air above freezing, about 5 to 10,000 feet above the surface or so, and it extends down even further than that, right down to the ground. And then once it makes contact with the ground, it freezes. The ground is below freezing. That is how you get freezing rain. We'll have more details on the timing of everything else coming up here in just a bit.
Fox 17, steer clear traffic with a live look for you in southeast Nashville. We still have 2 semis broken down on 40 East at Fessler's Lane, and treacherous conditions out there. You can see outside shoulders completely coated, low visibility out there, and this is just the beginning of what our road conditions are going to do over the weekend. It's only going to get worse from here as we do have that sleet and then ice start to come into the equation. Already slick out there, so I would stay home if you can. Up on I-24, we also have another breakdown pretty close to the Silliman Evans Bridge. Really dicey on those bridges, ramps, and overpasses, so I would definitely avoid those areas if you can. Also, we're in really rough shape south side of town. This is 24 West, pretty close to Laverne and Smyrna. I-24 at OHB with at least 3 lanes blocked, and you can barely see towards the inside shoulder, but we do have a spin out, one of many spin outs that I've seen this morning.
Happening right now, NDOT crews are on standby this morning as they are watching for the winter storm to see exactly what kind of impact it's going to have right here in Middle Tennessee. Well, they say that they are ready to go. They say they are equipped with around 45 snowplows and around 9,000 tons of salt. They also say they've identified about 80 different snow route removal places where they're going to be able to go and try to get that snow and ice off the road. They say those particular streets are going to take priority over others. So let's take a look at the map here. Now, this is a map provided to us. All of this is Davidson County. You can see a lot of the red there on the screen. Those are streets where they say they're going to be prioritizing before others when it comes to snow removal. They also say that some of these routes may be temporarily interrupted. So if you absolutely need to be on the road this weekend, please be mindful of the slick conditions and also mindful that NDOT crews are going to be out there working to try to make them safe. We'll be right back.
A couple of cars going by.
Profanities that you're hearing.
Creep up the hill here.
Seriously, happy.
And we got 350 people watching. This may be my best opportunity. So if you got anything you want to know about the school system or random things you want to hear talked about, I'm here for about the next 30 minutes. So shoot them to me and I'll try to give you the best answers I can.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News. This morning, we are continuing to follow the very latest out there when it comes to this winter storm. It has been snowing now here in the city of Nashville for the last several hours, and I would imagine the accumulation is starting to pile up. Let's get over to our Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist. We are here with Brent Luna. He's going to tell us a little bit more. I mean, listen, you guys have been working on this. You guys have promised. It is now here. How much further do we have to go?
Well, it depends on what we're looking for. If we're looking for more of that sleet, a couple more hours here in Nashville. If we're looking for more of the freezing rain, that's going to take a little bit after the sleet begins to move in. But it has just been go, go, go this morning. We started our first newscast out this morning at 8 a.m. I woke up at 4 a.m., checked my phone, checked the radar, saw a lot of blue popping up, looked out the window. There wasn't any snow falling. What was going on was it was moist up higher in the atmosphere, and then as it made its way down to the ground, those snowflakes just evaporated. It ran into a layer of dry air before it could reach the ground. More of that kept on falling. It moistened up the lower levels of the atmosphere, so now we're with what we have right now. So we are in this Fox 17 code red alert for today and tomorrow. This major winter storm will continue to move through. Significant travel impacts are expected. We're talking snow, sleet, freezing rain even going to be a concern. Obviously, freezing rain, the worst form of winter precip that we can get. Radar is still showing a lot of snow for a lot of areas, especially north of Interstate 40. Starting to see more sleet move into our southern counties, and I would not be surprised if the sleet has actually made its way up into areas like Williamson County, parts of Rutherford County, and areas like that too. I think that radar just coming in a little bit behind, at least on that reflectivity image that we were just looking at. As far as what we're looking at for the rest of the day, all of this pink is the ice, so that's going to be the chance for some sleet and freezing rain. I'd say give it another 2 hours or so here in Nashville, and then we should start to see a little bit of sleet mix in, and then a little bit after that, a little bit later on today, some of that could transition over into freezing rain. Obviously, the worst, like we keep on saying. North of Tennessee, right up here in the parts of southern Kentucky, this is 5 p.m. later on this afternoon, should still be looking at mainly snow for that area, and then we could even see just regular old-fashioned rainfall going on over here on the plateau. That's all this green that you're seeing. This is going to be really close though. I've got the temperatures overlaid on this map. 33 degrees in McMinnville at 5 p.m. or at this is 8 p.m. later on today. That puts it only 1 degree above freezing. So this is all going to be determined within about a 1 to 2 degree temperature change or temperature difference later on tonight. And then moving on into Sunday morning, we actually see these temperatures rise just a little bit. And we're going to see more of just regular rainfall over here. It looks like, at least as of right now, along the plateau and for a lot of areas to the east of Interstate 65. But just trying to determine this exact ice line where we get the sleet and freezing rain cutoff versus the regular rain, that is going to be very difficult. We could see some areas with a significant amount of ice and just a little bit the other side of that. It could just be falling as mostly rainfall. Our northwestern areas, though, still looking at that wintry mix as we go through the rest of Sunday morning. And then late Sunday into Monday early morning, we could see another round of snow move in. Most of that round should finally just be snow. This first round of this event, I mean, we're just getting everything. We're getting regular rain possibly, snow, sleet, freezing rain. This is just a little bit of everything, so whatever you like, we're getting it. Just don't recommend getting out on the roads and traveling in any of this, because right now we're just seeing the snow and we're seeing some impacts right now, but later on today it is only going to get worse once that ice starts to move in.
Fox 17, steer clear traffic. Honestly, it's tough to imagine it getting worse than this because these roads are already in terrible condition and it happened so fast, just within about an hour and a half or two. This is 65 South on the north side of town in Madison. We've got a breakdown and a multi-vehicle crash that have just popped up within the past 20 minutes or so. You can see a lot of these cars slowly trying to fight through those delays. We would definitely recommend staying home if you can. That breakdown and crash are pretty close to OHB, mile marker 92 if you are heading inbound. South side of town, it is still coming down on the I-24, pretty close to Antioch, Laverne, Smyrna, and Murfreesboro. We've got a spin out crash I've been tracking honestly for the past 2 hours or so. This is 24 west at OHB. There's where we do have that spin out crash. At least 2 or 3 lanes blocked off to traffic at 24 west. That's going to be at mile marker 61. Here's an area that thankfully is quiet right now, but that I always see issues on. This is I-40 close to Briley Parkway and Donaldson Pike. Those on and off ramps can be really dangerous.
All right, Lindsay, we are not only seeing delays out there on the roads, we're also seeing them in the sky as well. Earlier this morning, we were able to report more than 70 flights at Nashville International Airport have been impacted by this winter weather. We're talking this morning with Stacey Nickens. She is with the Nashville International Airport. And Stacey, good morning. You know, we've seen some video out there on social media of crews trying to de-ice the planes and trying to make some progress about getting the flights up and going. What are the conditions right now there at BNA that we need to be concerned about?
I think the most important thing is that travelers should check the status of their flights before arriving to BNA, because long before the first snowflake falls, we're already preparing the airfield. However, airlines will take precautionary measures to keep everyone safe. Today, we're seeing 67% of our flights canceled, like you've mentioned earlier. So while we want to have you here and we welcome you, we know you want to get to your desired location. So we encourage you to check the status of your flight before arriving at BNA.
At this point, Stacey, is there any word on exactly how long something like this will continue on? Are we talking about people being stuck for days, or are flights going to eventually be able to get in and out depending on how quickly the weather does move along here?
You know, that's really hard to tell you. It's really based on the airlines and their decision. But I would say if the weather continues in this route, I would continue to check the status of the flights, because safety is first. And that's the direction that the airlines will take. But checking your flight will be the best way to know what that pathway will be for you going forward.
And Stacey, what's your best advice for people who find themselves stuck here? Let's say their flight gets canceled and they're just here and they're trying to figure out exactly what to do from this particular moment. What's your best advice to them?
Again, I would check the status of the flight. I can't say that enough, but if you happen to get here at BNA, we'll be happy to receive you. You know, our concessions are open, things will be moving, but again, you won't be able to get out if your flight cancels. So it's really important to check that status before arriving here to avoid any layovers and, you know, long periods inside the airport.
Real quick, and last but not least, I just want to ask about airport operations itself outside of the carriers. Of course, you guys have got lots and lots of people there who work at the airport at this point. How are the operations of the airport? Is everything up and open?
Absolutely. We have over 200 staff and contractors who are mobilized to assist during this winter weather, and we will be here until this ends. So we're ready to help and to keep things moving throughout this entire period.
All right, Stacey Nickens there with the Nashville International Airport. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. We'll be right back.
Still seeing quite a bit of snowfall going on the radar right now across Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky. In our southern counties, though, we have been seeing that transition over to sleet. Should be seeing that here in the Nashville area within about 2 hours. As far as the snowfall totals go, I think the highest amounts are going to be in Southern Kentucky. Here in Nashville, around 2 to 3 inches right here along Interstate 40. The lowest amounts in our far southern counties. That's not what I'm most concerned about, though. This is the more concerning thing. The freezing rain accumulation, especially down in our southwestern areas, could see that at a 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch, and then even nudging up here into Davidson County. Could be looking at maybe a ½ inch or even up to about 3/4 of an inch of ice, a freezing rain accumulation right here. So that is never a good thing for tree branches, travel, power lines, anything like that. Beyond this, it's going to stay really cold as we head through the next several days. Temperatures may not be able to make it above freezing any day this week. Sunday we're at 32, but then the bottom just drops out Monday night, dropping all the way down to -2.
Oh boy, all right, so a lot more to come right here as far as the storm coverage is concerned. We've got you covered all the time at fox17.com. Up next is college basketball, but we will be back every single hour to provide updates, and that includes this very special program at 1:30. Thanks for watching.
This was a Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Special Edition, sponsored by Sarah Chevrolet, Bart Durham Injury Law, and Frontier Foundation.